Welcome to a Wednesday night edition of Stretch the Chain on early and 3R Sports on late. Isn't it ironic? Then we're on the perfect day. Braves trail right now 4-1. So let's talk about football instead. So it seems last night the Braves got the one win they had to get in Houston, though. And tragic with what happened with Charlie Morton. Wouldn't you say, Raj?
Yeah, that's brutal. I think he's their best overall pitcher. People forget he's a former Astro who knows that lineup up and down. He was on that cheating team, so I'm not a huge fan of the guy. But, he is 39, I believe. Can still hit
37.
upper 90s. 37. Can still hit upper 90s, but, fibulas, tibias break when you're that old. But, no, it's brutal. It leaves them with basically two starting pitchers in Anderson and Fried, if I'm not mistaken. And again, just a veteran presence to have that in the second inning of game one. That's brutal. That is brutal.
So now you're without probably, if everyone was healthy, what would be their 1-2 in Soroka and Morton? And now you're with your 3-4, Fried and Anderson. And you just called up Tucker Davison from the minor leagues. So it is definitely not the situation we want. So, of course, showing up late is going to be, I believe, from Las Vegas. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Add him to the stream.
Hey guys, sorry I'm on my phone right now. I just got off the golf course and my baggage is coming up, so I'm working on that. I'll be on my computer here a little bit. In Vegas.
You're in Vegas.
I'm in Vegas till Sunday, so we shall see how that works out.
Nice.
Yeah, that's too long. That's too long to go to Vegas.
Yeah, dude. You know better than that. 2 nights, bro, max.
I was going to say 3 days tops.
Yeah, well, I'm not here for fun. I'm here for work, so I've got a conference here that's starting in the morning.
Yeah, we know how you lawyers conference in Vegas.
I'll have to wait to talk to my lawyer till next week, I have a feeling.
Oh, for sure.
Rhino.
So, Robbie, we were just talking about the Braves lost arguably the number one starter going into the playoffs, and that's on top of Soroka. Do you still, Brandon, we were at Brandon. Brandon, do you still like the Braves' chances here?
I think they still got a chance, man. Their bats are hot. I mean, they're a hot team right now. Like I said, I'm not big on a whole lot of baseball watching and don't know quite the knowledge you guys do, but I love watching the playoffs in the World Series. And from what I've seen, especially in the past years, the hot team wins. And they're not to say that Houston's not, but man, their bats are hot right now.
Down 5-1 tonight. Looks like it's going back to Atlanta 1-1. Robbie, would you go ahead?
I mean, with that team, the way they're slugging, Shane's absolutely right. To me, it's who's hot, whose bullpen is lights out, and who plays the best defense. Especially who's hot. If you're going down, World Series winners. I was looking at this. The Nats in 18 finished second. The Giants finished second in 2 out of their 3 World Series. We're not going to talk about the asterisks in 17, but it's big time who's hot, in my opinion. And the Braves bullpen was not a strength earlier in the year, but wow, aside from Luke Jackson, Masick is unhittable. Minter's been great. The Dodgers, which I'm still in mourning. Will Smith was on their team last year, and they didn't really need him, or so they thought, and he is basically an all-star closer for the Braves. So bullpen, hitting. Yesterday, in fact, 1 through 9, every Braves player got a hit in the World Series. And tonight, Darno, who I'm not a fan, like I said, my mom could steal second off him. He hit the home run. So, that's big at the bottom of your lineup when somebody like that can get on and hit one out. So plenty of time. They're mashing better than anyone. This is, plenty of time. And that stadium's a tin can, so they'll hit a bunch out, trust me.
Well, thanks, Rob, for summing up my whole 15-minute segment in about 30 seconds. But you got it, Robbie.
You taught me well.
Hey, Robbie, have you been able to watch the World Series out in Vegas? Do you have a bet on the World Series in Vegas?
So I missed it last night. I didn't get in. I landed about 9 o'clock Vegas time last night. So missed the game last night. Went down to the sports book today. I was staying at Planet Hollywood last night, then switching to Mandalay. So I'm in Mandalay right now. Went down to the sports book. They didn't have it on this morning before I teed off, so I didn't bet. I was going to bet the Braves, so thankfully that worked out in my favor. But I think it's way too early to say how this series is going to go. Hey, the Braves got one. They've got home field now. That's what their mission was to do. Yes, the pitcher getting hurt really hurts. But ultimately, I think this is going to be a series where the hitters win or lose this thing. Both teams can hit. Both teams have momentum. Both teams have beat really good teams to get here. So this is no fluke. This is no hot. I remember several years back, the Rockies, got hot and then ran into the Red Sox. This is not that kind of situation. Both these teams deserved it. So I think it's going to go 6 or 7 games. And so, I wouldn't write off the series one way or other after one game.
All right. Well, we'll move on from the World Series now. 5-1. By the way, with the Braves in the series, game 1 up 17.5% in ratings. I do think that's directly reflected in still the power of the Superstation and how the Braves were America's team at one point.
Last year, all the games were in Texas. Tampa was in it. A lot of reasons why. Dodgers lead the league in attendance. But, yeah, you're right. Braves, Cubs, Dodgers, Mets back in the day. They have a national audience. And the Braves may not be able to sell out their home stadium during the year, but they carry 5 states. And if those people could go to the game, they'd sell out every night.
From baseball, we'll make a quick trip to NBA. Future odds released at the beginning of the season. The LA Lakers are not the favorite to win the NBA title. We'll start with the LA Laker fan. Go around to Robbie and then Brendan. Who's your
I agree. A lot of people like Milwaukee. If Golden State gets Klay Thompson back, they're going to be deadly. Jordan Poole stepped up in his absence. They're pretty deep. I like the Lakers. One thing they did is they went out and got Westbrook. And that's because, on days like LeBron is off. Last year, they got smoked on those days. Last night he had almost a triple-double, 27 points. They've got somebody who can fill in. Tonight they're smoking Oklahoma City. But once they learn how to play together, LeBron, and there's only one basketball, I think they're going to be super good. The Bulls are another team to watch out for. Even the Hawks, who's kind of built similar to the Bulls. But like Utah, Denver, when they get Jamal Murray back, Michael Porter has stepped up in his absence. Golden State and the Lakers. Clippers, it depends on Kawhi. Still balance of powers in the West. And, of course, there's the Brooklyn Nets. With Rob, you want to take the Kyrie situation?
Brooklyn Nets listed as the favorite at plus 2,500 at 250.
I'll jump on that and just say, I honestly think Kyrie being gone's addition by subtraction. He is a great player, but he's just a distraction, just kind of an annoyance. Though Durant's the most gifted offensive player that we've seen since Michael Jordan, and could, he can't be stopped. Like there's no defense for a 7-footer who can pull up and shoot from wherever. I still like Brooklyn out of the East. Milwaukee, obviously the defending champs until they're dethroned. You got to respect them. But I agree with Raj. Hey, when Klay Thompson comes back, if he's what we remember him being, that's still a team that scores threes when you score twos, and that's a matchup nightmare, especially for the Lakers, who AD, LeBron, and Westbrook, they're all freaks, but none of them particularly shoot the three, extremely well. And so if you're switching baskets, you're playing a different game.
Absolutely.
Brendan,
Yeah.
I guess you and I are more casual fan, but at a plus 1,000, the Golden State's worth maybe throwing $10 on.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just like these guys said, you get Klay Thompson back. I mean, he's arguably the second best 3-point shooter, that we've seen right now, especially in the league. You put those two together, I mean, whose night is it? Whichever the hot hand, one of those guys is going to have 8 to 12 3-pointers a game, and just you're going to be trying to keep up and run. And they transition so well. I mean, they move the ball so well, and that's the thing. You get LeBron, AD, Westbrook. Those guys are more clear the paint, one-on-one, drive and maybe dish, or try and take it to the hole. Golden State's just different. I mean, they just move the ball so well, and I mean, you catch these guys wide open, and then you got Steph, of course, shooting from anywhere on the court, draining them when he gets hot. So they're dangerous, man. I think 1,000 plus 1,000 is a pretty good value there.
Side note, completely side note. Before coming on here, I just bought a fifth of Maker's Mark, and it was $73. Like, how can people
Welcome to
afford
Vegas,
to
baby.
live here? Yeah, this is. I mean, granted, I was a sucker and I had to buy it in the hotel lobby to get on the show with you guys, but man, Mandalay Bay, you're gonna have to pay for this. You're gonna have to reimburse me. I'm gonna have to get it from the tables.
That's when you can
That's
sit
about-
down at a slot and fake pull, because I'm a dude. I don't play slots. Fake pull right where the waitresses go in and out, and then like, oh, miss, you said you'll get me on the next time around, and get your shitty beam and Coke or whatever it is.
I played Valley High today, and they were like, "Oh, do you want this? Yeah, you want a girl to ride in the cart with you?" And I'm like, I mean, want to, need to is two different things.
Yeah.
You can spend some money in Vegas without realizing you're spending some money in Vegas.
That's why the full week's a little long track there.
By the way, for those who don't go to Mandalay Bay, my favorite little secret spot is the bay is connected to the Luxor, and you get a ton of free fight tickets. And I always went to the Mandalay Bay, and I've got to see a couple of heavyweight boxing championships, and just show up and they throw some tickets your way. So
Yeah.
I like the Mandalay Bay.
I wonder if $1.50 hot dog a beer is still there. That place was awesome, dude.
Yeah, I'm
Those
usually
shades
a Caesars guy. So this is the first time I've been to the Mandalay Bay.
I haven't been to either one. I usually say at the Wynn.
The Wynn's nice.
La
Hey,
ti
Robbie,
da. The win is.
let me throw a hint at you. The poker table at the Luxor will only have about 15 suckers at it. It's one of the slowest one in Vegas, so you can make $1 at the Luxor poker table.
It's like that sounds like my fantasy football league. There's 11 suckers in there.
We'll get to that shortly. Let's move on from the NBA and Robbie's $73 bottle of liquor, which I calculate is about a $30 overpay.
One drink, not a bottle. Right?
No, I got a fifth, so I mean that's like 3 for me.
Yes, that's 4 drinks for Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Robbie pours a half of a jig when he's making a shooter. So yeah. Back to the Titans. Titans beat down the Chiefs. I got a couple of scenarios for you. The Chiefs are pretenders or contenders, and the Titans, pretenders or contenders. Let's start with the non-Titan fan, Raj Mehta, down in the corner.
You can't ever call that team a pretender, in my opinion. One big thing, though, is they don't have a running game this year. Edwards-Helaire is still out. They are not running the ball at all. People are keying off Mahomes, who looks human for the first time. He's thrown 9 picks already. I don't think he had 9 all of last year and the year before combined. And defensively, they lost quite a bit. Ironically enough, Derrick Henry didn't go for 800 yards against them. He went for 86. But they're just turning the ball over, penalties, stuff that – and plus they do take everybody's best shot. I mean, there's no question about that. So I can't call them a pretender based on the talent on that team, but they better learn how to run the ball and stop the run, or else they're in trouble. And the pass, by the way, too. They're in trouble.
Well, there's no doubt the Titans know how to run the ball, Robbie. Titans, pretenders or contenders?
Oh, contenders without a doubt. They play in, if not the worst division in football, definitely one of the 2 or 3 worst divisions in football. They got the Colts this weekend. They beat the Colts again. That division is theirs. I've already declared it theirs. The one that, like, A.J. Brown got back on track. Derrick Henry takes so much attention from the defense. Even though he didn't go for 100 yards, that presence was still felt. Tannehill takes care of the ball. He's a running threat. Their offense is just really, really good right now. They're 5-2, and their losses, that inexplicably lost to the Jets, which you can't say it didn't happen, but it was just one of those things where, that's that's one of those oddities you're going to look back and be like, how'd that happen? And
it's the NFL.
Yeah, Titans are definitely contenders. I think the Chiefs are leaning back towards pretender. This is what happens when you give one player $500 million. It's going to hurt your team in other ways. You can't keep everybody happy. You can't afford everybody. Now, maybe when the salary cap gets restructured, it looks like a good deal. But right now, it looks rough. And they're in a division where the Chargers and, hey, don't look now, the Raiders and Derek Carr looks great in those 2 games since Gruden's been gone.
And speaking of inexplicable losses, it's so crazy. Titans lose to the Jets. The Raiders lose to Justin Fields and the Bears at home. Green Bay's one loss was 30-3 to Jameis Winston and the Saints. It's the NFL for you, but it's really hard not to say what if in this league. But with the Raiders, they've started out 6-2 multiple times, and they've just blown it down the stretch. So I'm not super stoked. They seem to be better. Obviously, the defense did a good trade for Denzel Perriman, the former Miami Hurricane, who's up there in tackles. As far as the Titans, wow. They're offensively just get out of the way of that dude, and their receivers are freaks. Defensively, did they do enough? They seem improved from last year, that's for sure.
Brandon?
Yes. Finally.
This is his.
The
Titans
Titans.
are contenders when they turn around and hand it to 25 times. Is that the only time?
That is not. This is finally exactly what we were so hyped about preseason when we got Julio and we had this dynamic offense. It's like, take it how you want it. How do you want us to beat you? Do you want to load up the box and have Tannehill, Julio, and AJ Brown beat you, or do you want to play nickel and dime packages and let Henry run all over you? Henry still did his job. 25 carries, 87 yards. That's a pretty solid day in the NFL. And, our dynamic offense, they just couldn't stop it. So I think we could have put up more points. I think after the first half when it was 27-0, they were kind of on cruise control. But this is the offense that we've been waiting for. This is offense we've been talking about. This is what gets everybody excited. It's finally coming together. And yeah, the defense, they're starting to kind of figure it out a little bit, you know. And guess who we did not miss the entire time? Taylor Lewan. Where has he been? Nowhere. How good have we played? Just fine. So I'll leave it at that. But as far as the Chiefs, I think Raj hit it on the head. I mean, you can't ever count them out. They do not have a run game right now, which is, you know, detrimental to the offense in the NFL, as everyone knows. Like, you can't just go around and sling it. Coaches are too smart. Don't count them out yet, but they've got to fix a lot of things. But it is NFL. You know, you get two different teams in 2 different weeks. So, you know, I give them time. You know, 2-3 more weeks down the road, if they lost another 1 or 2 games, then yeah. But I still wouldn't count them out yet.
Robbie?
Yes.
Have we saw Julio Jones at its best in the Titans offense?
You know, I still think I'm still holding out hope that he is getting it together, and he is going to get open. He's going to find his place in there. I think, you know, obviously AJ Brown's the dominant person, but I can't believe Julio is going to be done yet.
Raj, is the Raiders, and we're going to play a little game here in a minute. Give me your Raiders. What are your expectations for the Raiders right now?
Again, they've started out with this similar type of record, you know, quite a bit. The difference being as somebody nailed it on the head, like Rob did, that Derek Carr is unconscious right now. You know, defensively, they're much improved from last year. Guys are healthy. They've made some nice additions. Their number 4 pick overall, Cleveland Farrell from freaking Clemson, was a healthy scratch a couple games ago. So that was a nice job by Gruden and Mayock. You know, they controlled the Eagles. You know, they beat the Ravens Monday night, but there's a lot of juice in that new stadium. So, and they beat the Dolphins, you know, the Steelers. So they were overmatched against the Chargers. I don't want to read into it too much. You know, the receivers are better. Ruggs is taking the top off the defense finally. You know, Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs. So, yeah, they're improved all the way around. They're also in the toughest division in football, in my opinion. And, you know, they've got to play the Chiefs twice and the Chargers again. So we'll see. I'm not overly excited, but I'm pleased thus far.
All right, guys, we're going to play a slightly new, different version of Pretender or Contender. I'm going to give you a team's season's results blindly. You're not going to know who this team is. You're just going to hear how they produced on the field. And you're going to tell me Pretender or Contender. And if you know the team, don't shout it out, because a couple of these schedules may give it away. Who, Mr. Chain will go first with this one. But all of y'all are, listen close, because all of y'all are going to get this team. This team opened with a loss to the Vikings in overtime by 3. This team lost to the Bears by 3. This team came home or went on the road and beat the Steelers by 14. This team beat the Jaguars by 3. This team beat the Lions by 23. And this team beat the Ravens by 24. Losing to the Bears, beating the Ravens. Is this team for real?
No, they've got quarterback issues. I don't think the guy that's there is the guy to fit it. They're not for real. They're a pretender.
I'm going to say you're wrong about the quarterback, and we'll get to who this is.
I think you may have a mixed up team, because I know exactly who it is. And the the number 1 overall pick 2 years ago, has been unconscious. Joe Mixon, Samaje Perine from Oklahoma, they've been running the ball well. Jamar Chase, people called him out for that pick. That guy's been unconscious, just like the other dude on Minnesota,
yeah.
Justin
Sorry,
Jefferson.
wrong team.
Yeah, who are you thinking of?
No, I was looking at his jersey right there, the Broncos, but it's actually
for real.
it's another
It is the
Ohio
Eagles.
team. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
You're right there. Broncos.
Yeah, they're garbage. That's what I was thinking of. I was all looking at preseason Vikings game.
All right. Now, even if you know the team, Raj, don't shout it out. Okay? You're going to start first. So, are you ready to go? This team opened the season with a 26-point defeat to the Philadelphia Eagles. This team lost by 23 points to the Bucs. This team beat the Giants by 3, lost to the Redskins by 4, before going on a 2-game winning streak over the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins. Is this team trash or real?
You want me to go?
Yeah.
I won't say the team name. They're not for real, in my opinion. I mean, I'm surprised where they're at right now. They're getting a lot of production from guys that, have kind of been around the league a little bit, mainly at running back, the guy you want to trade for in our league. I would not call them for real, but they have had a tough schedule, and they could have won that game against Washington easily. They hung with Tampa, and they got the Panthers and Niners, Lions coming up 3 in a row. Those are all 3 winnable games. So you never know. But right now I go pretender.
All right, Shane.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
This team is.
It is. I mean, I'm a fan of the tight end / wide receiver that they drafted. He's been quite the upgrade there on the offense. He's really starting to shine as well. So, but they just, you look at some of the talent on these other teams. I mean, they just don't even compare. So I just don't see them, other than kind of a rebuild and try and reformat with Arthur and figure out what's going on. I think he's going to need a couple years to draft some of his guys.
All right. That is obviously, you all are correct. That was the Atlanta Falcons. Robbie, we're giving blind resumes, and then you're telling me who the teams are. So you're going to get this one
if they're
first.
contenders or pretenders.
Right.
All right, Robbie. And I'm gonna throw
$73 bottle.
I'm gonna throw this one out of order to you and see if you can get it.
Pretender.
This team beat the Detroit Lions by 9 points. This team beat the Seattle Seahawks by 9 points. This team lost to the Arizona Cardinals by 17 points. This team beat the Colts by 3 points. This team beat the Bucs by 10 points. Does that resume, is that team real?
Wait, is that the Rams?
We're not supposed to say who it was, but yes, it is the Rams.
Oh, sorry, I botched that game. Yeah, they're for real.
Even with the struggles last week against the Lions?
Hey, the Lions play everybody tough, and that was a big game for Jared Goff. And I don't hate on the Lions as much as most people do. They're a fighting team, and I mean it's still professional football. The Titans lost to the Jets, like we've said. I mean, it's the NFL, man. You're gonna get weird weeks and travel and teams overlooking people. And so, I'm a believer in the Rams.
How about you, Shane?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the addition of Matthew Stafford has been, tremendous for that offense. And I mean, they've got arguably the best defensive player in the league. I mean, they can keep it together. They can score pretty much with anybody. They're definitely contenders.
My
Did y'all
only
see-
question with that team is the running game. Losing Akers hurt. Darrell Henderson is a bit smallish. Sony Michel's more of a pass catcher. The receivers are insane, though, with Meshawn Jackson down there, Van Jefferson, Sean Jefferson's kid, the old Charger, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp's unconscious. Now, I've had that guy a bunch of times in fantasy, and I don't think he's ever made a season healthy, like through the whole season. But
Yeah.
that guy is
He's on-
insane. Yeah, he gets hurt all the time. Any team, Donald and Ramsey is going to be right there. Leonard Floyd, that got last year, 10.5 sacks last year, the old Georgia Bulldog. And he has 4.5 leading the team this year. So they got a lot of stars, but I think they need to improve the run game somehow.
Did y'all see? And this is off a little bit off. Did y'all see Tomlin's response to being asked about the USC job?
He was misquoted a bit. That answer was in reference to college, coaching in college. It wasn't like about USC football. I don't know if you saw the quote, but yeah.
I never like to
sad.
say never, but never.
Yeah, he was just
That's what he
like,
said about college football. But yeah, they made it seem like USC is the chump school that they are right now. Which
Well,
is
yeah,
true.
I mean, Carson Palmer just came out of that with like in the middle of nowhere, and then it's like, well, yeah, we're gonna try, and then he was just like, no, like, are you kidding me?
That was news to all of us.
Yeah, there's not a booster with a big enough checkbook, right?
You could tell he just wanted to be like, this is so insulting. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not calling 16-year-olds to try to get them to come play for me.
He's coaching for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, they're a national icon in NFL. I mean, come on.
Speaking of Cooper Kupp and him being on fire, I was looking at his statistics through the first 7 games. He's wide receiver 1 in the NFL. He had no game less than 10 targets. His worst game was 13 targets, 5 catches for 64 yards. He's had multiple 13-target games. Did Matthew Stafford find his best friend in Cooper Kupp?
Yeah, and his second best friend in Robert Woods. I mean, both of those guys are just, I mean, PPR monsters. And for some, I forget, I don't know what the number is. I'm sure they throw the ball, 60-something% of the time. To have those guys to throw it to, and to have, Stafford he's a pretty cerebral guy as well, has quite an arm talent. I mean, it's fun to watch, to sit back. I think Kupp is on pace to be like the number 1 scoring fantasy wide receiver in the history of fantasy football right now. I read that somewhere, but
That's the only way Geoff could be 5-2.
It's
He's
insane.
averaging. Yeah, man, he's averaging 115, almost 116 yards per game. I can't remember how many games there are, but I think he's averaging, like, if they've won 7 or whatever they are, he's averaging like 8 catches a game. I mean, that's insane, dude. Woods has not gotten the ball as much, but I mean, Cooper Kupp does not drop the ball. And so,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he's just blowing it up. He's got 9 TDs already. Like, what?
Yeah.
That's a great year for most receivers. And it's not
Yeah,
even
he could
halfway
start
through the
right
year.
now. He could probably still finish in the top 5 of wide receivers if he didn't play another game this year.
Exactly.
It's just insane.
Exactly. Well said.
You have to wonder if Barry Sanders or Calvin Johnson has reached out to Stafford and been like, So what does competence feel like? What does it feel like to be with an organization that's not a dumpster fire, that doesn't waste your talent? That's what you're seeing. Stafford was the #1 draft pick, all the talent in the world. He went to Detroit, and they just wasted all of this talent, which they always do. That's their MO. So much talent, and it's all wasted. And Stafford just I get to go from Detroit to Los Angeles, and I get a competent coach, and I have weapons.
Brand new stadium, not like a shithole in Detroit.
Like literally, is there a happier person in sports than Matthew Stafford?
Absolutely not, dude. That's where people go to die is in Detroit, man. Like it's awful. I mean, coaches. Like I had a buddy of mine, Jim Bob Cooter. He was the offensive coordinator. I mean, he was there for 2 or 3 years and just fizzled out. Like he's nowhere to be found now. And he was, I mean, brilliant mind. He was a assistant coach at UT there for a while.
Yeah,
not coach.
He was a hot commodity.
Yeah, I mean but look at guy from New England. What's his name?
Trey Flowers.
Yeah, Flowers.
Matt
Patricia. I mean,
you're talking about coaches.
Yeah, coaches and players. You just look at everything that's gone through there. It's just like you don't leave that place, and it's for Stafford to get out and have the success he's having, like you said, that people have to be so jealous. Like, how did you find a way out?
Sounds like Shawshank, and he's Andy Dufresne. Like, you don't get out of that place. Like, how did you get out? You called through 500 yards of shit.
Sums it up.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
All right, guys. Before we move on from the NFL, I was a little caught off guard by the line Thursday night. By the Braves. By the way, the Braves still down 5-1. Runner on third with 2 outs currently. I was a little, I guess, surprised by the line on Thursday night's Packers-Cardinals game. The Cards, a 6.5
single by Freeman. Run scores.
Nice.
Sorry.
Where's my clicker? I'm listening.
He called it a clicker.
Yeah. He's from the South, Raj.
Oh.
You can't take it out of him.
Trying to get my hotel TV game on.
I thought he was like from the Flintstones or something.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are currently a 6.5-point favorite over the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought that line may be out of whack. That means that you give them 3 points. The Cardinals, for a home field, the Cardinals are really almost a 4-point better team than the Packers. Let's just go around. Somebody tell me why I shouldn't bet on the Packers, Raj.
Devontae Adams, Lazard are both out. They don't know about Valdez-Scantling coming back. He's supposed to, but it's a Thursday night game. If it was Sunday, he'd come back. So not a lot of receiver options for Aaron Rodgers. But anybody with Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, it shouldn't matter. That seems like a lot of points to me for a team that's basically the hottest team in football or one of them. But still, if they had their receivers, I think this line would be somewhere around 3.5. But I think it's a product of Rodgers losing key weapons, including arguably the best receiver in the league. He would be the best if not for Cooper Kupp this year.
Right.
Robbie, do you like the 50.5 or?
I like the over. I think it's going to be a shootout. This is one of those games where somehow, some way, I just feel Aaron Rodgers wins it. And it's just that one of those, it's almost like I don't care that I don't have my best weapon available. I'm just that good. And just this kind of just anger, arrogance, just I will show you kind of thing is what I think Aaron Rodgers puts on. And so but at the same time, on the other side of that field is Kyler Murray and all of those weapons. And I think it's a high-scoring back-and-forth game. But if you ask me who I trust late in the game, I'll still take Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I agree.
They actually sent me a text that said can Aaron Rodgers pull off the upset? So I'll ask you now on air, can Aaron Rodgers pull an upset?
Absolutely. Even with his missing weapons, I think Robbie hit it on the head. The arrogance of Aaron Rodgers and what he's, this may be his final season in Green Bay. Probably is in consensus. So this is kind of one of those last middle fingers. This is how good I am. This is what, what you're missing. I think he'll throw it and stick it in someone's helmet. They're going to catch the ball. It's going to be a high scoring game. And I think if it's going to come down to who has the ball last, and I would take the Packers 6.5. I think it's going to come down to who has the ball last time wise. And it's going to be a battle.
How about this real quick? Their best win this is 2021 in a nutshell, is beating the Bengals at Cincinnati in overtime. That's a hell of a win. Other teams they beat, though, Detroit, San Francisco, Pittsburgh, the Bears, and Washington. So, but yeah, that's a huge win. I mean, that's
right. Especially hindsight now, like looking at how good the Bengals are right now,
And that's a tough road environment. Exactly. So they've looked good on the road lately,
right.
Except for that game at New Orleans, which is pretty flukish. So I agree. I mean, even despite the weapons, I'm taking Green Bay.
Interesting.
What about you, Randall?
I want to take Green Bay too. I also think there's some potential.
Well, then Arizona's going to win if we're all like Green Bay.
Yeah. There's some potential.
I'll take Arizona.
There's some potential.
Go put it in the books.
Potential DraftKings play among those like Robert Tonyan and MVS. So,
what about Ertz? That trade for
Yeah.
Ertz was money, dude. That was a great trade. Dan Williams went down, I think, and wow, he's still got juice. Max Williams, my bad. But yeah, what a great trade. So another weapon. Whoopee.
I'm going to run to the world of college football with multiple quick-hitting subjects. The first one, a projection from CBS Sports. What would be next week's top 5 in the BCS poll when released? Shockingly enough, I thought Cincinnati was listed as number 5. Is Cincinnati not done enough to be in the top 4 already? That both Alabama and Ohio State would be ahead of them. This is the projection for Week 8. They've also got a projection for the playoffs. Today, Week 8, Cincinnati number 5. Too high, too low?
Too low.
Go ahead,
Too
Roger.
low.
I mean, they won at Notre Dame. They won at IU convincingly. Yeah, they didn't. Navy's a tough opponent. If you're not ready for that triple option and everything they run, they've been winning on the road with defense. Desmond Ridder has made himself a first-round pick. Until they lose it, and they have nobody else on their schedule aside from SMU that's going to get them past that hurdle. So I think that's a robbery. Another team is I like Michigan State this weekend, and I think they're going to jump up pretty high.
In just a second.
But yeah, the other usual suspects.
Hold that thought. We're going to hit that game hard in just a second. Robbie, Cincinnati 5, yes or no?
So this comes down to kind of the eye of the beholder. Do I think Cincinnati can beat, say, Alabama? Do I think Cincinnati can beat Ohio State? Probably not. But had they done enough to get there? Yes. And so I want to see if Cincinnati runs the table, I want them at the table. I want them to be able to play and see what happens. Because I say I think that, but I haven't seen it yet. And I want to see it. I don't want to see a overrated, just Power 5 school coming in. To me, like, this Oregon Ohio State thing's gonna get interesting. The Big Ten's gonna play itself out. Oklahoma, I don't think they deserve it. They have not looked good. They're the fear that I have of a Power 5 team that's usually in there. If they jump over Cincinnati, I have a real problem with can a non-Power 5 team get a fair shake? Because Oklahoma is not one of the best four.
Big ups to Rattler and Keaton Slovis for each of them playing their way out of the first round in the NFL draft. Way to go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Brandon,
Yes.
I'm gonna
Go
give
ahead.
Brandon you first. Let's remind everybody this Cincinnati team led this same Georgia team 21-10 in the fourth quarter of last year's Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati is legit.
And you look,
Georgia want to be there though.
You look at the playoff committee and everything. Like, you can't have it both ways. You either got to do it by the grade of what they're going on right now, or you got to do the eye test, which we all know that's never going to happen. They're going to pick and choose. You're fighting up a uphill battle against Power 5, conferences, and you just can't win. Somehow, some way, there's going to be a way that they get squeezed out of this. And I totally agree. If it's Oklahoma, I will be so disappointed because they look like straight trash right now. Like, I mean, they do not look like a good football team whatsoever. I mean, they're battling in every games they should be blowing people out. But who knows? Cincinnati, I mean, they've had some good wins, and I feel like they deserve a shot if they run it out, I mean, I've got them my consensus number 2 right now. Just because why not? I mean, they've done everything to get there, and they've had some really good wins. So
yeah,
Robbie,
I will say,
point.
the thing that worries me, and who knows how much the TV executives influence the playoff committee. But I will say, I watched the game this weekend with someone that doesn't watch a lot of college football, and he was like, "Oh, Cincinnati should blow out Navy," not knowing what we all know that triple
no
option,
one blows out Navy.
that triple option is so hard to prepare for. There's a reason why Tennessee bought out Army, because they're like, we don't want that's not good. I saw
Nothing
someone
to win.
schedule those. Why even schedule those games? Like, if you got a shot at it, it's like, don't even schedule a trap game like that, because you're not. I mean, you spend 4 days preparing for a triple option that you can't teach these kids that crap.
I saw something on Twitter, and it was so true. He's like, the worst time to ever schedule a triple option team is the first game of the season, the last game of the season, or any time in between. Like, just don't do it. Just don't schedule them.
All right, guys. So we've made our points. Now I'm going to give you something. Jerry Palm's playoff projection. This is the full year. At the end of the year, this is who Jerry Palm is placing in his playoffs. At number 4, the Cincinnati Bearcats. At number 3, the Ohio State Buckeyes. At number 2, the Oklahoma Boomer Sooners.
Straight garbage.
Bama's out of it? Wow.
At number 2, the Georgia Bulldogs. Alabama finishes 5th, and Iowa finishes 6th.
Where's Oregon in this?
Oregon gets beat somewhere along the way, I guess.
By who?
Yeah, I don't know how you keep like that. That's the thing. I mean, like, how can you keep Oregon out if they go 12-1 when they beat Ohio State?
Oregon is playing in the Rose Bowl versus Iowa. Bama in the Sugar Bowl against Oklahoma State. Michigan against Kentucky in the Fiesta Bowl. And Notre Dame plays Pitt in the Peach Bowl.
That's the best win in the country at Ohio State of everybody in college football.
Yeah, if we roll that out, Oklahoma's best win is going to be either at or against Oklahoma State. Like, and they look terrible. I mean, they're not good.
Right. No, but in Ohio State's defense, not being a homeboy or whatever, but it was early in the season. And, when you look at teams time and time again throughout college football, when you're trying to get a sense of who you are as a team and getting these kids to play together, coming up early on tough games. I mean, that's now granted, a lot of the SEC, Bama teams do that, day in and day out. They're used to it, but not trying to make excuses. It was still a great signature win, especially at Ohio State. I mean, our defense was atrocious. It's improved quite a bit since then. I mean, Ohio State's a different team now. So again, you go back to the eye test. You look at that game and you look at what they've done lately. Two completely different teams.
Brand new quarterback after Fields controlled everything in the offense. I'm not a fan of Anthony Brown with Oregon, but they controlled that game on both sides of the ball. They made them one-dimensional.
Oh, yeah,
Ohio
absolutely.
State gets better every year. I mean, week 11, polar opposite from week 2.
Absolutely. But I'm not taking anything away from Oregon. I still have them. I've got them ranked number 6 for me.
And in fairness, Ohio State, if they win out, they will have beaten Penn State, Michigan,
right.
or
Some
Michigan
highly
State.
ranked teams.
Yeah,
right.
I mean they will
Penn
have
State,
they'll get some signature wins. Right.
Yeah,
they'll have the
does
resume.
well.
Penn State's garbage. The game this weekend,
Oregon's
I was going to
last
go
game.
until they lost the last game. Who they lose?
Illinois.
Overtime.
I watched that game. It was painful, the overtime. It was like the best, worst game I've ever seen in my life.
Was it 9 overtimes? Was that? Or no?
Yeah,
was
but
that?
yeah, it was 9, but they do the 2-point conversion after like the third. And neither of those guys could get 2.5 yards or 2 yards. It was pathetic.
It's like a pillow
Penn
fight.
State.
Is
With big girls.
James Franklin and Dan Mullen the exact same coach?
So back to the Oregon debate, real fast. Last 3 games, a 7-point loss to Stanford, a 7-point win over Cal, and a 3-point win over UCLA. We talk about Oklahoma barely surviving. To me, Oregon's barely surviving in the Pac-12. So you can't use
This is true.
a double hand here.
Right,
Cal
but they also
UCLA
have that signature win.
Yeah,
so.
I mean that's my thing is like they still beat Ohio State. Like if that game didn't play, then there's no debate. But it's hard to say Ohio State's better when they played in Columbus and Oregon won. That's a hard pill to swallow.
Right. But again, the transformation throughout the season
Yeah.
is a big factor. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I get it.
Stanford was at the peak when they played.
Right.
Tanner
Oklahoma.
McKee had settled in. They had been winning.
Oklahoma beat Kansas by 12, beat TCU by 21, beat Texas by 7, beat Kansas State by 6, beat West Virginia by 3, beat Nebraska by 7, beat Western Carolina by 76, beat Tulane by 5. So is Oklahoma getting better as the year goes along?
No.
Did you watch the last game?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
And I hate the transitive property kind of arguments, but it's like Texas, Arkansas beat Texas pretty badly. Arkansas also ran in the SEC. Like Oklahoma, no, the Big 12's just garbage this year, and Oklahoma's I guess it's the top of the garbage. So I mean, it's like they just do a pizza on the top, and hey, if you're gonna have to eat something, here's the top of the pizza in the garbage can.
All right, let's jump over. That's it. Let's save that analogy for another day.
I'm just predicting my future tonight is being like looking in the garbage and trying to find the pizza.
Yeah, he's gonna be on his way home.
It's
No money
appropriate.
left.
Yeah.
I tried to let that one slide, but I couldn't. of the bigger games around the country. Cincinnati, number two Cincinnati versus Tulane. Do they need to come out and walk the dog on Tulane that Oklahoma couldn't do? Don't struggle with Tulane if you're Cincinnati, right?
Shouldn't.
Tulane's 1-6. Their one win was over, I think, Morgan State. They looked. OU made them look good. What does that tell you about OU? Yeah, they'll smoke them. I don't see Tulane doing much on offense, even though that quarterback looked okay. But yeah, I mean, this is like a whatever game. No one's going to care at the end of the year unless they lose, which they won't.
Georgia, Florida in the cocktail party. Georgia is a 14-point favorite. Robbie, is that just slam the door, or Florida's got enough athletes to play with Georgia, but I think a lot depends on what kind of quarterback play Florida gets. Would you not agree?
So, and this is what I touched on briefly. Dan Mullen, James Franklin, Dan Mullen won big in Mississippi State. Nobody wins there. But then he gets to Florida and he wins, and he went to a New Year's Six Bowl, I guess 2 years in a row. Since the cocktail party last year, Georgia's 11-0. Florida's 8-6.
Wow.
Florida is 8-6. That's so the pressure may be starting to boil there, and where Dan Mullen needs a win, a big win, and beating Tennessee and losing close to Alabama is not enough. He needs something there. And so does he start looking? Do they start looking? But if Florida falls and they go to 4-4 for the year, what is that? Well, I know they say it's a rebuilding year, but 4-4 at Florida?
If they played Tennessee right now, Tennessee would beat them, and I'd take Tennessee. They somehow beat them 38-14. It was one of those games early on. Florida's top two rushers are both quarterbacks. That's all you've got to know. Emory Jones is throwing 10 TDs with 9 picks. He's not very good. We've all seen that. Defensively, I mean, they're getting smoked. I mean, they're giving up points. LSU 50 points or 49. I mean, yeah, rebuilding or not, I agree. Dan Mullen. When's the last time there's been a spread of 2 touchdowns in the cocktail party? That's pretty crazy. That tells you a lot of the state of affairs of both schools.
Yeah, I agree.
James.
I'm taking Georgia in the points all day. I think this game's ugly, and I think it's ugly quick.
So let's talk about ugly. Ohio State, an 18.5-point favorite over Penn State.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Ohio State all day. Penn State's garbage. We're playing
Trash.
in Columbus at night, 7:30. We're on fire right now. Our offense is just almost unstoppable. Their offensive line's probably one of the best, if not the best, in the country, and we've got weapons everywhere. So I don't see them. Yeah, Ohio State points all day.
Robbie, any difference?
Man, that's a lot of points. But Penn State, this is how bad the Big Ten football is.
If they would eat a pizza off a garbage pail.
They went to 8 overtimes and still didn't hit the over. Penn State and Illinois.
At home.
That's mind-blowing. I just put James Franklin, Dan Mullen, they're in that same boat. Hey, they had a good run, but are they elite enough for those elite jobs? I'm not sure they are.
I don't think they're getting phone calls right now about them.
Yeah,
I know I think they've been at the top of the list, hearsay from media, but I don't think anybody's calling them right now.
Well, no. I mean,
why would you?
I mean, how can you if you're James Franklin and you want to say the USC or LSU job, you just lost at home to Illinois, who is horrible, a horrible program. And then Dan Mullen, yeah, I mean, you lost to Kentucky. You're Florida. Like, I just don't know how either of them kind of right the ship at this point.
Yeah, and those being schools that big, I mean, that's not going to fly, like you said. I mean, there's a change going to come,
Yeah,
real quick.
Hey, and change. CJ Stroud is young and he's getting better. The guy's throwing 22 TDs to 3 picks. They lost to Oregon because of penalties, 1 turnover, and they couldn't stop the run, which surprised the heck out of me. But they're getting better, and they're going to be a force by the end of the year. But, yeah, I mean, nobody's talking about C.J. Stroud. That guy has played amazing. He's a true freshman from California, of course. Boy, they steal more of our good players.
We don't discriminate. We recruit out of any state. So
that's called the Clay Helton effect. But, yeah, that's a team to watch out for. Penn State is trash. I don't know how they were ranked. Top 10, I don't know how they're ranked now. Just bleh. Bleh. That's all I can say.
Especially after that loss last weekend, it's just like, how is this team even in the top 25? Like, it's so bad.
All right, let's move on to the game of the week. What is considered a rivalry by most people, but I'm going to throw something out at you. The last time these two teams met and they were both in the top 10, the number one movie in the nation was Mary Poppins. The Beatles had just landed in America. Movie tickets were $1.25. Oh Pretty Woman was the number one song in America. Since 1964 to today, next to Saturday, no Michigan State game has been a battle of 2 top 10 teams.
And Randall was 21 at the time?
I wasn't even born. I was not born yet.
My bad.
Wait, they had movies back then?
They had movies, yes.
Mary Poppins, man. It's a classic.
113 years of this rivalry. 113 years they've been playing football. Both teams enter the game 7-0 or better has never occurred. So, Michigan State, Spartans a 4-point underdog. I think Michigan's for real. Somebody's going to have to convince me otherwise. So, Brandon, you're our resident Big Ten guy. Is Michigan State real? Can they play with Michigan?
I think so. I think they can. I honestly wish I could watch both of them lose and somehow the field catch on fire. But if I don't even want to say who I would pick to win this game. I think Michigan State's going to keep it somewhat close. But listen, if Michigan football is good, it makes the rivalry so much more fun. We've been kicking their ass for I don't know, 5, 7, 10 years now. I've lost count. Like, it's not even fun rival anymore. Like, let's get it back to where they're good, where it makes the Big Ten better. It makes football better when you have those kind of rivals where teams are good and it's not just a blowout one way or another. So I like Michigan on this. I think they're legit. I do think Michigan State can keep it close. Harbaugh's been known to choke before. I believe it is at
East Lansing.
Yeah.
East Lansing, baby.
It is at Michigan
Game day
State.
is going to be there.
Yeah, so that gives them, they're 4-point dogs. I think it's going to be close, man. I think it'll come down late in the fourth quarter.
I'll say that's not had a lot to offer tonight. I really, really think Michigan just walks the dog on Michigan State. Sorry, George Jackson, our friend from the Off the Center show, the Michigan State booster. I just think Michigan walks the dog on Michigan State. I personally understand about, when you win 15 in a row, 10 in a row, if it's a rivalry anymore. I'm sure Florida and Alabama feels that way about Tennessee at this point. So I'm on the other end of that. But
Right.
I'm going to give you my best nuts, or best bet, best nuts. My best bet your nuts later on is going to come from this game. I feel that strong about it. So I am definitely on the Michigan side. Robbie, what's your thought?
So it being at home for Sparty, and Jim Harbaugh gets a lot of credit and a lot of praise, some earned, some unearned. I think Mel Tucker's a better coach. I think they're going to be more prepared.
Interesting.
I like Sparty in this one. I think they have worked the transfer portal as well as anybody in the country. And so I think Michigan State at home with game day there, with Fox Sports there, there's going to be a lot of energy in the stadium. We saw what A&M could do with a stadium to Alabama. Home field in sport, home field in college football, maybe college basketball, they're 1A, 1B are the two biggest deciding factors. And so I think a raucous crowd at East Lansing, and I think Michigan State wins. And so I would love points, and I will bet on it.
Me too. I've got a lot to say about this game.
You could bet Randall and just save the juice, man.
That's true.
Yeah, I
was gonna say, dude.
Best bet coming from this game, not necessarily that.
Real quick, what is Michigan? They lost their best player, Ronnie Bell. One running back that was awesome. They didn't play last year, Zach Charbonnet, that's got like 800 yards. They have a 1-2 punch at running back with Blake Corum, 5'8", 200 pounds, and then that Hassan Haskins, a big back. But Michigan State's solid against the run, like Robbie said.
Mm-hmm.
They were awesome in the transfer portal. They got a UF DB, an Alabama DB, linebackers, one of the best players from Arkansas State in that conference. I can't even remember. Big Sky, whatever the hell it is. Sun Belt, my bad. They, they're not awesome against the pass, but they played a lot of pretty good passing teams. But Cade McNamara is not an awesome quarterback at all anyways. I like them at home. Michigan State, by the way, is 25 sacks, and they lead the Big Ten in that category. And finally, Kenneth Walker, the Wake Forest transfer, he is 3 yards short of 1,000 yards in 7 games. He leads the country in rushing. Michigan hasn't showed me enough. I know they have Aiden Hutchinson and a few other dudes, but I love Michigan State in this game. I'm all over it.
Interesting. All right, guys. I'm going to ask you quickly before we get tired. Time runs out here. When I was looking at the Jerry Palm predictions, one thing stood out to me. In the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl, yes, it really is a bowl, formerly the Belt Bowl, he has a matchup of Clemson versus Tennessee. Has Clemson really fell that far that fast that they are on par with a 6-6 bowl and no better? No fixing it. Robbie, what's your thoughts on Clemson?
Well, I don't think you have to study history too far back to look at what happened with Florida State. look, the ACC is not a good football conference. And when you fall down and if you lose one or two, there's not any signature victories left. And so that's what you're going to fall to because you're no longer what people want to see. Like there is no ESPN hype. There's no game day. There's nothing there going like you can't be. Oh, I mean, hell, Wake Forest is undefeated. They're probably ranked in the top 10 now. Clemson going at Wake Forest is still not a big deal because that's the conference they play in. It's unfortunate, but that's what the reality is. And so, yes, hey, out of sight, out of mind. Clemson, you're back to being Clemson until you prove otherwise. Even with this great track record of success you have, but it's like chutes and ladders, and they just fell down the damn chute.
Astros get
How
another
about
run.
that reference?
First
Good
and
analogy.
seven went out. Robbie, the analogy king.
I did worry about messing up the chutes and the ladders on which one was which.
So let's go around. First of
It
all,
should have been a double play routine.
I want to talk about it. The series is going to be tied 1-1.
Albies an error?
Yeah.
That never happens.
So, best bets. Let's head to our favorite segment of the week. I've already said mine comes from the Michigan State game. I'm shockingly going to stay away from the line, but I am going to go with the over 49.5 points. I do think both teams have enough offensively. I look for a higher scoring game. Well, the weather's supposed to be nice. I like Michigan State over this weekend. Brendan Jane?
I like that. I don't disagree with that one at all. I am 100% on the Titans +1 over the Colts. That's my bet you're nuts for sure. They're starting to gain momentum right now. They're on fire. I know this could be what NFL, a trap game or whatever. I don't see it. Like I said, pick your poison on the offense. It's going to be a shootout. I like the over 51, and I like Titans +1.
I like that one too, to be honest with you. Raj Mehta back from the West Coast, looking solely like Raj can. What do you got for it, buddy?
Dude, I'm all dogs, baby. 2 touchdowns. I think they're gonna smoke Florida. I just don't see Florida moving the ball at all in that defense, which is insane, especially up front. I think they're gonna kill them. So obviously the opposite's gonna happen. So bet on Florida if that's what I think. But no, I think Georgia's gonna win by probably 4 touchdowns.
I actually don't hate that. I'm going to root for Florida just because I don't want to see Georgia win a championship. But Robbie Davis, what have you got?
So I think this weekend is lining up to be the most free money weekend we have had this calendar year. I'm with Brandon. Titans. They're better. Like every stage of the game, they're better than Colts. I like Michigan State. And then I would be remiss without telling you guys my NASCAR pick. Kyle Larson, top 3. Parlay those 3, and you will be sitting pretty come Monday. So Titans, Michigan State, Kyle Larson, top 3.
Is anybody going to play the 36.5 points on Iowa, Wisconsin as an over? That may be the lowest I've seen in a long time.
No, they both suck at offense.
That's
but-
Vegas. That's Vegas taunting you.
Yeah.
They're warning you.
That game's going to be like 14-10, bro.
Yeah,
I-
it's starting to get cold there too. Like
Yeah.
I will
Stay
take Iowa
away.
though. Iowa's a 3.5-point dog. Wisconsin blows. I know they lost to Purdue
What-
last week, but
oh,
I think Iowa wins that game. Yeah.
Oh, and
the
Wisconsin's
over.
favored.
the over on Thursday, the Packers and Cardinals.
Yeah, what was
Throw
that?
that into a 14 parlay.
Nice.
50 and
Nice.
a half. I like the over.
You're in
Yeah.
the right
So-
place, dude.
Our buddy from Victory Formation, Arden Scroggins, gave us this one too.
That guy's
For
awesome.
DFS on Thursday night,
Yep.
Randall Cobb is the play.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm going for it, Raj. I'm going for it.
He's the number one receiver now.
Let's see that parlay ticket
Dead
there,
right.
Robbie with his 20s or
Hell
with
yeah.
his hundreds out.
Making it rain.
All right, guys. First of all, final words from me. Tomorrow night is the end of my high school football season, which has been, it seems like it's been 7 months long. I have been going since the second week in August. And high school football doesn't quite line up with college football. So then we still have a playoff after next week. So by the first week of November, we'll be in the playoffs. I don't think Squatch County will qualify. We'll probably take our trip to Roane County, who's a top 5 team, and probably struggle. But in years past, we've been very good. We were in the semifinals about 4 years ago. 15 weeks of high school football was a real grind. So I just wanted to take my final words and thank the people at we've renamed it to the Nickajack Football Network. So I just want to take a moment and thank them. Thank them for putting a lot of trust in my hands. And also announce that RiverCity-Media is going to be doing a couple of high school basketball games, stream live to YouTube, stream
Nice.
live
All right.
on Facebook. There are going to be teams from the North Alabama area. My friend Phil Harris and Howie Cheney will be joining me on the play-by-play. We're going to try to see if we can generate an audience, but it may be, if we can, it may be a direction we go in the future of doing more live high school sports on the network. So join us. I know we will have a Sylvania game at some point. It's the only one we booked. So Robbie Davis, outside of your lovely wife dancing in Dare to Dance.
Yeah.
You're about to throw away thousands of dollars on Red 18. What else you got going on in your life?
Yeah, so update. So they raised $661,000
Wow.
for the Kidney Foundation, which is, I mean, it's huge.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That is. Very proud to see the River City logo behind your
Yeah.
wife, too.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So
That was awesome.
Allison got Standing Ovation Award, second in People's Choice, and then a Star Performer. So
Awesome.
overall, good success. And then actually, it was a really fun event. So in the future, hopefully, we can all get there.
You better get your ass in the gym, dude. You better get your ass in the gym.
Oh well,
She
no,
is very, yeah.
hey, it's yes. She's looking good. Me, not so much, but that happens. But yeah, overall, yeah. I mean, it was a good weekend, and then I avoided watching Tennessee get beat by Alabama again. And then other than that, I'm looking forward to gambling this weekend and hopefully coming back with a boatload of money. But yeah, that's it for me.
Red 18.
I played that 7 times last night and lost every one. I had black 15 hit though and black 24 hit.
Nice. All right, Brendan Jane.
My words are to Mr. Robbie Davis in Vegas there. Don't sit in one place too long. You'll lose all your money. And for the love of God, wash your damn hands.
Is he the cell phone guy and fans get too close to somebody else's bet and he's that guy?
That's right. Just wash your hands.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Shocker. Does sitting too long in one place, losing your money, does that include the rhino or no?
Oh no, that's after hours.
Yeah.
Making sure.
You got work hours and you got after hours.
Exactly. Work stops at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
All right, Raj Mehta.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh, I will just say how devastated I am to lose to such a bum like Clipper this weekend. And Brandon, you have the worst fantasy team that may ever have been assembled.
And I'm in first place.
Yes, it's mind blowing.
It's awful. My fantasy team is like, I look at it and I want to cry. I'm like, how did this happen? Like everyone just completely like missed this year, so it's just one of those years. I'm going to grind it out. Maybe I'll catch a win or two, make it the playoffs, but it's not looking pretty, boys.
You still lead our division.
I know.
Play you this week.
I know. Hopefully you got a lot of people on bye, Randall, because I can get about 87 points. And that's about it.
You do not have to play Lamar Jackson. So
yeah, that's a plus.
You will be playing Daniel Jones at quarterback. So
bring it on, baby.
Yeah, that team blows, and it's got a better record than my team. That's depressing.
My team's garbage, dude. It's so bad.
You got Eckler. That's about it.
I know, and he was on a bye last week, so Geoff beat the crap out of me.
My
if
final
Eckler or
word.
Somebody doesn't get like 40 points. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, he can do that. My final word is a painful congratulations to the Atlanta Braves. It was frustrating for me, and the reason why I've been a Dodger fan my whole life, but when you live as a transplant elsewhere, you hold on to what you've got from home. We were at game 2. I'm not going to label all the fans, but there were certainly some fans that were not awesome. And, my little one was not thrilled. It's kind of me against the world. I've said that before. Got nothing to do with that. The Braves, everybody's hot. Career hitters, Rosario, Soler, Jock are 225 guys, and they're unconscious. They beat us. I wish we would have had Scherzer, Kershaw, Muncy, Turner, Dustin May, Joe Kelly. All these guys got hurt, but it doesn't matter. I'm not saying we would have won the series. I'm saying the series would have been different. But last year was also a short year with a short offseason, and they went as far as anybody could. So, frankly, I can't believe guys didn't get hurt sooner. But the Braves outplay us. We have to wear it. They deserve to win. I'm not making excuses. I like them in this series. Obviously, everybody in the world hates Houston, especially me. And with that lineup, the Morton injury sucked, but they've been unconscious. So I still like them. I think they win both games in Atlanta. Is it all 3 in Atlanta now? I think that's stupid.
3, 4, and 5.
Yeah. I mean, dude, they've got home field now. And Houston's best advantage is that tiny little crap hole of a stadium. I like the Braves. I mean, they're gonna win it all. And congratulations.
All right, I'll take that. Robbie Davis somehow left us. I was trying to see if we could get him back.
He's in Vegas, dude. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone for real.
The tables were calling.
I got nothing else tonight, guys, but it's been a good show. I like
That was
this
fun.
combined stretch the chain with 3R's. I like the format. So
Yeah, it's fun.
for Randall Cunningham, for Robbie Davis, Raj Mehta, Brendan Jane. This week, I'm be so glad and so thankful that I can get rid of a couple of shows after the next couple of weeks. I'm tired of hearing myself talk. I really am. And on Friday night, that's 6 hours of me talking, and I'm really tired of it. So, good night, everybody.